Oh, my testicles hurt. And welcome to another episode of the Miles Offside podcast, where we talk a little bit of football and a whole lot of nonsense. My name is Oscar Puente, also known as Footy From Afar, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts, Quiz Wizard Chuck Bailey and super producer Ian Stimson. Hey boys, 1 week till Christmas.
Woohoo! Yeah, 1 week till Christmas, 5 days as we record. I had my Christmas yesterday, so I feel like I'm cheating. It's great. I was going today and people were talking about like, oh, have you bought your presents or whatever? Already opened them all. Suck it.
Nice. Anything good? What was on the list?
Got a sound bar.
Nice.
That was good. Sound bar, subwoofer. I can't believe I ever didn't have it. I tried it out last night. I put the sound bar and the sub on, and then through an experiment, I turned it off to listen through the TV, and it was the shittest experience I've ever had in front of the TV.
Yes,
I was like, what is this? What have I been doing to myself all this time? And
you'll never go back.
Yeah, that was peak.
This is how it starts, Ian. Soon he'll have a 5.2 system and...
Yeah.
I mean, I might. Because I started off watching Match of the Day. It was the first thing, and I thought, oh, this is quite good. And obviously, like whilst I was watching it, I was playing through settings and getting it right. And I was like,
yeah, of course,
okay,
yeah.
But I'm not really getting anything from the sub. Like, I'm not expecting anything because it's football. And then instantly put a film on because Spider-Man, the second Spider-Man, was on TV after the Match of the Day, and I was like, oh, shit, this is amazing. Oh, I've got to go to bed because it's like 1 a.m. and I'm tired. But
that's awesome.
And blasting things through a subwoofer at 1 a.m. isn't the way to make friends either.
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah, especially the child might not appreciate it.
She wasn't here. It's fine. She'll love it when we watch Frozen 1 and 2 3 times a day for the next.
Hey, that'll sound real good. The Moana soundtrack. Turn that up. Turn the bass on. Hear that depth in The Rock's voice when he's singing. You know, you're welcome. Like that whole song. Anyway.
Yeah.
Speaking of Spider-Man. Fucking amazing. We're not going to go into any spoilers, obviously, but go watch it if you are at all inclined and feel safe to do so, given the current, pandemic and everything. But if you can get out to see one movie this year, get out and go see Spider-Man. That's the one movie you should watch this year.
You're
genuinely
amazing.
Fucking amazing.
You're amazing, Oscar. Oscar.
I am.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
Dude, you're amazing.
I am. That's true. Thank
There
you.
we go.
And spectacular and superior.
This is it.
And all of the above.
Yeah.
But, Ian, Posh Island, shall we check in, or are we going to want to skip that one?
No, yeah, probably just give that
Posh Island isn't obscured by much football this week, so, I'm not bothered. I did get reminded by Oscar that there was a whole load of midweek fixtures that we missed, and we forgot all about them, so we won't be talking about them. Gutted. Four games. Oscar, 5 points if you can tell me all the teams that played this week.
I can tell you half of the teams that played this week. Arsenal, City, Liverpool, and Chelsea, who they played against. I'll give it a shot. Chelsea played against... Wait, don't tell me.
Fucking hell.
Wolves. Chelsea played against Wolves.
On brand.
City played against Newcastle. Liverpool played against Tottenham. And Arsenal played against Leicester?
Oh,
damn it.
Never mind. I probably would have given you a point in the quiz for that. No, it was Leeds. So
it was Leeds. I knew it was an L team. Whatever. L, W, all these letters. Too many letters, I think.
Yeah. Peterborough lost to Blackpool, in case you were wondering, guys. So
Awful. Should have been one we won. Oh, dear. If we don't win against Reading, is the season over? Maybe. Who's to say? That's Posh Island.
Very sad.
That puts you guys at 68% for relegation, so...
Cool.
Woo!
Yeah.
Hey, less likely to get relegated than Newcastle.
That's true.
That's a thing.
By 10 percentage points, that's not bad.
Woo! Norwich, you can dream, buddy.
Yep. Okay. I mean, I appreciate all your efforts, as backhanded as they are, but yeah.
Anything to create some sort of silver lining on the shit-coloured cloud you currently find yourself under.
Yeah.
Good, isn't it? What a world. What a time to be in. Let's all go outside and hug each other. Don't hug each other.
No
get boosted, guys. Keep your distance. Wear a
Yeah,
mask.
do get your booster if you can. We do strongly encourage you, if that's available wherever you live. It does make quite the difference in transmission and all that, given the new variant and everything else. So, go ahead and do that.
Whether you are a Premier League footballer or not.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're a Premier League footballer, just get some sort of fucking vaccination. How about that? How is this the only league that isn't like all the American sports leagues are at like 95%? Whatever.
Because the cure for every other condition was money, Oscar. And so they thought money would work with this one, but money doesn't work with this one.
And also the Premier League have said today that 84% of players are now on their vaccination journey.
On the journey.
On
the health highway. 16% have stopped at a service station. They're currently shitting themselves inside out in a toilet stall and have realised that there's no toilet paper. So that's where they're at. But it's good. Yeah. They said today they'll start. Oh, sorry, Oscar's probably got that tab in news, but they'll start reporting the differences in vaccinations, because they only went from like 64 to 77% since October or something like that. I don't know.
Well, if you are joining us for the first time, thank you. We're very happy to have you. We are one American and two Brits, and we try to talk about the Premier League, but often end up getting distracted and talking about Spider-Man and Rocket League. If you are coming back, thank you. We are very happy to have you. Leave us a review, 5 stars, tell a friend, patreon.com/milesoffsidepod, all of those wonderful things. And we will kick things off, as we always do around here, with our famous segment, Rapid Fire News. Our top story this evening, gentlemen, Tottenham are out of the Europa League conference after UEFA rules they forfeited their final match. The match on December 9th was called off following a COVID outbreak with 13 positive cases at the London club. UEFA then said the match could not be rescheduled and referred the matter to its disciplinary body. It rewarded Rennes a 3-0 win, and they will top the group.
They're so anti-trophy, they get knocked out of the competition by default.
One that they actually had a chance to win as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mighty Europa Conference or whatever.
I mean, yeah, we say they had a chance to win, couldn't get out of the group. So, no. I'm going to take back everything we said. They did not have a chance to win the Europa Conference League.
Fine.
Especially now Leicester are in it.
How do you think that call went? Yeah, guys, I'm sorry, but if you can't fulfil the fixture, then it goes down as a 3-0 loss, and you're out. And it's like, oh no, really? Oh no, we got to concentrate on the Premier League and all the money that will give us if we finish in a good place.
We'll just get an extra NFL team in to make up for all the 20, all the non-money the Europa Conference League will give us. Oh,
okay, cheers, bye, don't call again.
We'll just put a boxing ring in the centre circle at half time, and Anthony Joshua will come out and punch someone or something, and we'll get 200 million from that.
Yeah.
Fuck off, UEFA, you pricks.
Yeah.
Now that would be a halftime show.
And that's how I believe that's verbatim the conversation.
That is, yeah, that is. This is news. We can't report things that aren't right.
UEFA realised that there was a new legislation they didn't realise, and part of the whatever it is, the 5-star stadium you have to have for the Champions League and Europa competitions now, is that one of the things is being able to produce vast amounts of dairy products. And unfortunately, because there is no longer a cheese room, they're just 3-0, out, see you later, goodbye.
It's strange, these like archaic laws from long ago, isn't it? That's still on the books.
Yeah. Well, from one North London club to another, let's make the trip across to Arsenal. Our next story has... Not for the first time, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has been making headlines following a disciplinary breach at Arsenal. The 32-year-old was stripped of the club captaincy on Tuesday after arriving home late from a sanctioned trip abroad after misinterpreting COVID-19 protocols. The forward had been in trouble before. He was dropped from the starting lineup for the North London derby last season after turning up late to a team meeting, and was punished for breaking rules at Borussia Dortmund in 2017. He trained on Thursday but was dropped from the squad for their victory over Southampton, and by Tuesday morning, he had his captaincy taken away, which had also happened to Granit Xhaka in 2019, and he did not feature or will not feature in the match against West Ham. Gentlemen, blessing in disguise, speaking of silver linings like with Tottenham?
Well, they've won the last 3 games, and I think he's only played in the first one, and it's, it was a very public thing from Arteta, which divided some people's opinions, but I think it's a good thing to do when you have an especially young squad, and you need to be looking up to leaders, your older players, your more experienced players that have won trophies and done big things at European clubs. If they're going to, whether through whatever fault of their own or lack of attention or not understanding and not going to be a good example for those players, both on and off the pitch, then you kind of make an example of them. I just think it's interesting, the endless stream of bad captaincy choices that Arsenal have had over the years of, like you said, it was Aubameyang, it was stripped off, Xhaka had it before, Koscielny forced a move. It goes back, I think, for their last 10 captains or something like that. But, lots of disciplinary things. Have you seen the thing today where apparently the reason Phil Foden and Jack Grealish didn't play at the weekend or were on the bench was because they hired a 24-year-old French dominatrix to come round?
Really?
Yeah, I did not hear that. Really? Apparently.
That is the rumour.
If rumours are to be believed, and trust me, I will believe them, Phil and Jackie like a bit of spanking.
I did see a brilliant tweet myself. I can't remember who it was, I'm sorry, but that said Foden was just so sick of being a sub, he thought he might as well do it professionally.
Ew.
Was it Foden and Greenwood who the first lockdown breached it and got a load of girls back to their room in Finland or something when they were on England duty? I think.
Yeah. And Grealish has had previous lockdown breaking as well.
Oh, Grealish has had multiple things. Grealish cannot be trusted in wider society. That is just a fact. He has been done for drink driving multiple times, including just crashing his car and leaving it outside someone's house and then coming and picking it up in the morning, still drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, good vibes. Disciplinary everywhere. Why not? Fuck it. It's Christmas. Christmas parties, yeah? Aubameyang went to visit his mum. He went to visit his mum back home.
He went to go and collect his mum.
Is being forgotten about. Just going to look after his mum. Mixed up. To be honest, I have no idea what the bloody quarantine or isolation or testing rules are in this country either.
Accepted. But I think the main problem is that he was going to be a day late back and he just didn't even think he maybe should let anyone at Arsenal know. So training commences and it's just, where is he? No one knows. He hadn't said anything. And it's not the first time it's happened, that's all. So I appreciate what you're saying, absolutely. There's family things, and Arteta, let him go, definitely. But then if you're going to be late, if you're going to be a day late back, and the COVID situation's changing all the time, I think you maybe just pick up the phone, send an email, something.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get grounded. I mean, basically that's what this is. You go out, you don't let your mom know, you're late, there's no text. She's like, where were you? Who were you with? What are you doing? It's like, no matter what you were doing, if you didn't let your mom know, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, but when your parents do that, you get grounded. You don't get sold. You know what I mean? Your parents don't try and sell you somewhere else, which is what they're going to try and do in January.
You don't know what my mom does.
Well, yeah, no comment. No comment.
Also, my mum never paid me over $300,000 a week that might have to be offloaded to someone, because, I mean, they're going to fucking struggle, aren't they? To offload Aubameyang at that sort of money.
Well, you're not worth $300,000, Ian. I mean, come on, be honest. Be honest.
You should have grown up in London, mate. That was my weekly pocket money. So.
Well, see, yeah, sorry. Peterborough prices. I was getting. I don't know what's an old currency. A halfpenny. Let's say.
Yeah, 2 and 6, and a handful of asbestos for good measure.
Half a crown. Yeah.
Imagine you in your Christmas stocking. Oh, Mum, what have I got my Christmas stocking? An orange and a lump of asbestos. It helps prevent fires, Ian. Now, come on, sit round and protect yourself while we tell stories.
It makes a good hat, too. Just make a hat out of it. Keeps you warm in the winter.
Yeah, it makes really good face masks as well. Don't breathe in asbestos.
This is not even a warning you have to give these days, is it?
You'd like to think so. It was outlawed 40 years ago, and yet it's still in all our fucking buildings.
Yeah.
That's true. And also, there's people literally drinking, horse tranquilizers for stupid reasons. So, I think it's probably fair to have to say anything and everything at this point.
Yeah, bleach. Something with a light inside the body. Yeah.
Something. I don't really know.
These are all things.
Let's keep moving. Our next story, Inter Milan and Christian Eriksen have agreed to cancel the Denmark midfielder's contract. Eriksen, 29, has not played since he collapsed during his country's Euro 2020 match against Finland in June. The former Tottenham player has started training again on his own at a facility arranged by his local club in Denmark. Inter said a strong and indissoluble bond will remain. There has been no confirmation about whether or where Eriksen is going to resume his professional career, but he could only play in Serie A if an ICD, which is a medical device that was inserted, would be removed. It is illegal to play with that in the Serie A, so that's why they have agreed to terminate his contract, and he is no longer going to be playing at Inter. That was a scary moment at the Euros. I think we will all hopefully have repressed that as much as possible, but we'll have memories of it now that it came up. So we wish him the best. And it's sad when things like Aguero or Eriksen, for health reasons, heart-related reasons, are having to retire or step away from the game on some level. It sucks. It just sucks. So we send our wishes to him, our well wishes to him. But let's move on from there to two issues of sort of raising awareness on things going on in the game, the sort of racism-related stuff and prejudice-related stories that we do sometimes. The first one, the FA have launched an investigation into an alleged racist incident during Arsenal's 4-1 Premier League win at Leeds on Saturday. Gunners substitute Rob Holding approached the fourth official in the 33rd minute saying he had heard racial abuse from a Leeds supporter. Play was halted as referee Andre Mariner consulted with the match officials and one arrest was made. Leeds condemned the incident in a statement, etc., etc., etc. Love to see an arrest getting made. Hopefully more comes of that. And the other story, Everton have condemned a homophobic chant aimed at a Chelsea player when the teams played on Thursday. The Premier League game at Stamford Bridge ended in a 1-1 draw. Such behavior is unacceptable and does not represent the values of our club or wider fan base. Everton said in a statement, the Toffees won an award last month for their work to embed a culture of inclusion at the club and in the wider Everton community. We expect fans to reflect those values by refraining from any discriminatory chanting in the future. So, more just bad people doing bad things, but not much to talk about there. Just wanted to bring an eye to that situation, as we often try to do when those things come up. The more we see people getting consequences for their thing, hopefully the more that does start to make an impact. But let's finish up news with the actual biggest story of lately, and the thing that kind of is what most people are talking about, and that is that the Premier League is set to continue with clubs determined to complete those festive fixtures. This is per The Athletic. The majority of Premier League clubs want to continue playing throughout the festive period despite a spate of recent postponements due to COVID-19 outbreaks. Premier League club executives staged a virtual meeting on Monday after the weekend's fixture list had been decimated. The Athletic revealed on Sunday that clubs were set to debate whether or not to postpone an entire round of fixtures, but it is understood that a large majority of clubs wish to play on. Some clubs, including Liverpool and Arsenal, supported moving one round of fixtures, and it is understood that they were not the only ones to speak up in favor of this, but others argued that such a plan was too complex and riddled with risk. The real reason, here's the last sentence, is that any postponement would come at an economic cost for the Premier League. For example, the likelihood of Game Week 20, set to be broadcast by Amazon Prime, would be the round of fixtures postponed, presenting additional complications. A third option, halting the season completely, was also discussed, although it is understood that no club argued in favor of such a move. That one makes sense to me. Gentlemen, thoughts, any sort of general reactions to how the Premier League is handling the current spate of outbreaks?
I mean, it would be nice if they'd been more open before about the consistency and what the prerequisites are for the cancellations. We said this before.
Yeah.
That you can't evaluate it on a case-by-case basis. How does that work? I don't believe that the quality or level of player affected should matter. It shouldn't matter if it's your first string or backup players. It's about a breach and safety and that passing through your teams. What I will say is I've not really understood the need for a 2-week break in the Premier League, simply because of the fact that this isn't a problem that's endemic just in football. This is what's strange. We're using football as the under the microscope to be the example of COVID that we think we understand because we think we understand sport, whereas this is something in the whole of wider society. So if they stopped football for 2 weeks or a week, as Thomas Frank had said, to get your training facilities and academies and whatever sanitized so that the players can take a break and come back in, that's all well and good, and of course you're rightful to do that. But unless a player, and everyone he lives with sit inside their house for that period and don't go outside, all you're going to do in a week or 2 weeks' time is bring it back in. We're at a point in this country where, at the rate we are, if we carry on the number of cases each day for 7 days, 1% of the population of the UK is getting COVID every week. So 1 in every 100 people is getting COVID every week. And so in a club, you're automatically going to be exposed to the same level. You don't live in some sort of isolation. You socialise, you go to a supermarket, you do whatever. And so that kind of discourse I find is a bit strange as that an idea, because I don't see how that solves any problem. All it does is kick the can down the road, and it's a weird one. Weird.
I agree. It is strange. I think the problem you've got is that exactly what you say. It's everywhere now. So yeah, we've got a situation where not as many players as we would like are vaccinated, and that's the problem ultimately with this, because you've got clubs like Leeds where their vaccination is close to 100%, or I think will be 100% by the end of the week, they've said. Now, they had a lot of other injury problems, which meant that they struggled to fulfil getting a decent 11 out at least. But, you know, they had no COVID issue at all. So I know that the vaccination isn't perfect when it comes to transmissibility, but it clearly makes a difference. We know that it does have some effect on transmissibility.
It makes a difference, but I think it's being used as too much of a rod to beat with. And I did say this previously with the vaccination rates. What percentage of that is what age of player that literally didn't have it available to them? Because, true. You know, a lot of these players are 17, 18, 19, 20, who, because of the delays and the timings of it, wouldn't necessarily have it. And also, there's the thing of, well, you have to isolate, whether you're vaccinated or not. There's a lot of people that are getting it and are testing positive for it. I know someone who had their booster dose and then 2 days later had a positive test. And then, you know, PCR, and now they've got COVID. And obviously that spread. So they still have to isolate, and they're triple jabbed, effectively. I know it's not up to the final thing. So I think it's a bit of a misnomer necessarily, because it's also an environment that's really easy to control. I've found it baffling, and we'll probably come into it later, where with regards to Chelsea, is that Tuchel is obviously moaning about his players getting stuff, but then he's talking about his practices for the week, and it's like he's saying, well, you know, we all got the bus together and we all sit and eat together, and it's like, well, maybe don't do that.
Don't do that
for a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe split players into different buses, or go into bubbles. Like, you within your little mini community can control that. You know, I have social distancing measures at work. Granted, I don't play sport, I don't run about, and there is an element of that. But, you know, at least in close confines, where they're probably sharing headphones to look at screens and fucking about with Twitter pictures and all that kind of thing, close. Mm-hmm. Maybe don't, you know, have a bit more separation and a bit more nous about those things. I don't know. That's just what it feels like to me. And managers like Klopp, who moan about fixture congestion, don't rotate their teams before now and only play strong players, and now complain again because it's happening again. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, after all the owners have voted to carry on, I think it sort of, I don't think managers can moan about any of this now. It's their own bosses who have voted to carry on. But something else I didn't realise is that they are counting like COVID absences as unvaccinated people who are having to isolate. So obviously, you guys know my son's tested positive for COVID, but because me and Kelly are vaccinated, we don't have to isolate. We can still go out and about. As it happens, my work told me they don't want me anymore, so that's fine. I'm now staying at home, and
that's not to do with COVID. That's just
no, absolutely. This is just their chance to get rid of me. And I'm not working again until January. But like if we hadn't have been vaccinated, me and Kelly would have to isolate, and they're counting unvaccinated players who are having to isolate because they're a close contact of someone with COVID as a COVID absence. And I think at some point, do you have to sanction the clubs about this? Do you have to say, well, a percentage of your players aren't absent because they've got COVID? Because as you say, you're absolutely right. You can be triple jabbed and get COVID. So, but those players, I don't know. It feels weird that we protect the medical status of those people who make certain choices, But we hear about absolutely everything to do with injuries, absolutely everything to do with players' injury status is fair game. We hear all about that, but we apparently don't get to know which ones are vaccinated and which ones aren't. Which ones have, let's be honest, caused these games to be called off by having to isolate because they're a close contact when they might not have had to previously. Do we expand the 25 man squad so as the teams can genuinely call upon all of their academy? I don't know. It's tricky, but I just feel like there's a lot that clubs maybe could do beyond a 2-week break.
Yeah, it's like they fucking forgot everything that they did in like a year ago. Well, over a year ago now. Like March 2020, spring 2020, Project Restart. There was all sorts of protocols. It wasn't like just, I guess we can't play soccer anymore. They like figured out things that worked. I mean, they didn't work perfectly, but they sort of worked. And they could go back to some of that. But it seems to me that they're just like all or nothing. And they're like, well, either we can just keep playing normal, like everything's normal, or fuck it, we're just calling it off and taking a break or calling it off completely. And it's like, dude, find the middle ground. We're 20 months into this fucking thing. Like, we have strategies. It's just because everyone's burnt out that, like, we're saying, exactly. Well, I know this is what I should do. I know this is what we should do. But, everyone just fucks it off. And, like, that's true in soccer and everywhere, really. Everyone's just kind of burnt out on shit. But I don't know. It's stupid because, like, now there was what? 9 fixtures canceled since the last time we recorded, like in the last week between the 2 rounds. That's almost half the games at this point. And like some of those should have been called off. We'll get to that with Chelsea. Like Chelsea has 7 positive players, didn't have enough people for a full bench, but that game went on. And you know that some of those Chelsea players who were playing were probably positive but asymptomatic and transmissing, but hadn't tested yet, because that happens. There's like a 3-day gap from where you can give it to someone and where you test positive. And every day they were turning up new positive tests for like the 4 days leading up to the match. So like some of those players out there probably had COVID and probably could have passed it on, or who knows. But like the Premier League is just like, they're training, right? So like just they're all in the same place. Like fucking go back to pods, go back to closed doors. Like how do we still have full capacity state? Or I guess that they're lowered now, right? But
no, full capacity.
Full capacity still? How the fuck do they still full capacity stadiums when this is literally like the worst in terms of new cases that it's been the entire fucking thing?
Exactly what you said though. Society's the same, the government I think might bring in some measures after Christmas, which might involve bringing down things, big sporting events, big gatherings. But there's just no appetite at all in authority to be the person to say something's got to change here.
Yeah, because but it's like I said before, there's no point in football stopping for 2 weeks because these people still exist in wider society.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So it's like they know, so they can either have a loss of revenue and then fuck up their fixtures and AFCON and the World Cup and the summer break and all of that later, and the players still get COVID because wider society isn't stopping that from happening, or the governments aren't stepping in and doing something, or they just go, well, we've got to play. And they aren't gonna willfully turn down 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 people coming into the stadiums a week because they fucking need it, because they don't know when everything's going to stop again. And there's unlike last time, there's nothing here about support packages for any industry at the minute. If it has to close or reduce restrictions, they're talking about here making like bars and restaurants outside only again in January or after Christmas. Like, well, no one's going to fucking go. It's minus whatever in the day and it's dark at 3:30. No one's going to sit outside in a pub. It's not the summer. So it does seem like there could be a bit more that they can do, but it would feel like a Band-Aid on a bullet hole kind of thing, because society in general is just at a point where fuck it, like they don't care. We're far too, like you said, Oscar, before, we're 20 months into this thing, and here we are in this country anyway, knocking on the door of 100,000 cases a day.
It's crazy, but I do still think they could be doing more. Like, it's not do nothing or do everything. Yeah. Like, find some middle ground, Mm-hmm. But whatever. Shall we get to the fixtures then, gentlemen?
Such that they were?
Such as the handful that there were, yep.
It was the match of the day again. It was. It must have been great for you, Ian, rolling back to the 1960s and...
Well, yeah, let's start with the match of the day, as Chuck said. Saturday, December 18, we had Leeds 1, Arsenal 4, 1.6 to 3.2 on XG. A truly deserved win from Arsenal here after a 2-0 against West Ham, 2.7 and 0.3 in the weekend. Beating West Ham and a team. And a combined 6 goals scored, 1 conceded, and only 2 XG generated, or conceded with 6 generated. Sorry, words. They done made 6 XG. They didn't concede much. They good. Arsenal good. You tell me more. Good.
Many
Arsenal.
make goal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. By XG differential per 90, they are now the 8th best team in the league. So they're slowly getting up there.
Yeah, they're exactly neutral, right? It's 0 plus minus.
I mean, yeah, this is the Arsenal that we expect now. They beat teams what are below them, and the teams that are above them, they'll probably struggle. But it's better football to watch. I think they're performing quite well in the light of the Aubameyang captaincy fiasco and Martinelli, Emil Smith-Rowe, Bukayo Saka, Tomiyasu, Ramsdale still are all doing fantastic things, and they're young players are stepping up quite admirably as well. And so
Saka's so good. Speaking of the young players, he's so fun to watch.
Yeah, really
he's
good.
An Arsenal player, and I like him. That's how you know.
We didn't talk about it, but Martinelli, I really enjoyed Martinelli's goal against West Ham, which was just a great Thierry Henry-esque direct run, just from the side, 45 degrees, straight towards goal, pick it up in the half space, drive into the box, goal. Just lovely to watch. This is weird. Where's shit Arsenal gone? Leeds continue to fuck knows what. I mean, the Palace losing 1-0 to them looks worse and worse every fucking week because they conceded 11 goals in their last 2 games and they kept a clean sheet against us. 14 goals, sorry, if you include Chelsea in the last 3. So, that was bad vibes. No good, many no good. So, Leeds are fuck.
Leeds are fucked. Leeds are 24% to get relegated. The only teams worse than them are Burnley, Watford, and the 2 that are definitely going down. So Leeds not so good. They're in that 3-horse race for the 3rd relegation spot. Arsenal are now the favorites for 4th place after this result. They are at 40% for 4th place.
Wow.
Compared to United's 28, West Ham 18, and Tottenham 11. Tottenham's number you would expect to go up given Conte, blah, 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 but 39%.
3 games, and Tottenham have 3 games in hand.
Which is
wild.
But I would say for me at least, this is qualitatively different for Arsenal from before, because before the last time we sort of checked in on them, they were losing the teams that they were going to lose to pretty severely, and they were beating the teams that they were supposed to beat, but only barely. That XG wasn't good. This is different. This is against West Ham, 2.7 to 0.3 is really fucking good against a good team in West Ham. And then over the weekend, generating 3.2 against 1.6. Mm-hmm. So they're generating real numbers now, which is different from them, I think, from anything we've seen so far this season. And it is coming from the young players. Their young players are really fucking good. Arsenal could be really good in 2 or 3 years if they get a good manager and play their cards right.
I said this, Adam, you'll remember. I said it in the transfer episode we did way back. You two were both saying it was shit. I said it was the perfect window for where they were, and you went, yeah, guys, it's fucking shit, not going to be good. Look what everyone's saying now. Apart from Ramsdale, I was 100% wrong on Ramsdale, as was every other fucker. But come on, 30 million quid on someone who'd just been relegated twice and had the worst save percentage and just was one of the worst performing goalkeepers in that whole time. It was all there for him not to. I mean, granted, a lot of the saves he makes them look a lot better than they are.
He's box office, isn't he?
He's box office. Ben White, £50 million Ben White, giving away a penalty again. Well done. You're good, mate. Classic. Embrace that Brighton style. Leeds, where did he come from? Brighton. Yeah, Brighton. Weird. Benjamin. Sorry, Benjamin.
Misname him.
But yeah, good. It's good things for him. It's positives, and Oscar, like you said, it's deserving more the performances to go with it. And I think now it's the time, it's the not having to worry about European competitions. I mean, Arsenal were travelling to Azerbaijan before, right, in the Europa League. That's ridiculous. That's like a 5-hour, 4.5 hour, 5-hour flight from the UK. I don't think you can get there direct either. Good good times for them. Arteta celebrating his 2-year anniversary at the club today. Oscar, do you still think he's a bad manager?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Straightforward, yes. I mean, 100%. Arsenal, if they had a good manager, much like United, would be scarier, but they're not. Well, they still have Arteta. They'll pull off random good games, but no.
So Arteta might, may or may not be brilliant. But
he's not.
What point, if any, does Bielsa get questions about him? I mean, Leeds fans are pretty evangelical about him for now. But how bad does it have to get before he gets questioned?
Bielsa goes before he gets questioned.
That's possibly true, yeah. But is there a point when he gets questioned, at all?
I mean, it has to do with expectations, right? Like Leeds, do they think of themselves as a mid-table team, or do they think of themselves as like...
One good season, though, can change expectations massively.
Yeah, I mean, sure, look at Ranieri at Leicester.
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah. I know he's had a huge amount of injury problems, but going man for man against Arsenal in this just seemed not great, to be honest. Arsenal smelt blood from the off, didn't they?
He has no players. He has no players, and like we've said before, we talked about Bielsa burnout. Like the amount of fucking injuries they've got is ridiculous. Like it's just outrageous. His bench just looked like a collection of Charles Dickens novels.
His bench had a 15-year-old on it.
2006, that little prick was born.
Imagine such a thing.
Absolute bastard. At 15, I was in the park by the swings drinking White Lightning straight out of a 3-litre bottle. You know what I mean?
06. Ugh. There was someone on a Premier League bench born in 06 this weekend? That's fucking horrifying. Yeah. I was a Premier League fan already.
Drinking special brew by the river. You know what I mean? And this little toad
has only just started doing that.
Yeah, he's sitting there on a bloody Premier League bench. No, congratulations, mate. That's really good. But that's it. And from what I've heard from more learned people than me is that Bielsa is very much one to walk away when he feels like he's taken something as far as he can. And so that's kind of what a bit of the chatter is now, is does he feel like he's taken Leeds as far as he can? Not that Leeds would turn on him because they're still singing non-stop. They didn't leave at the 7-0 City in the week. They were still singing at Arsenal. They stayed as well and support him. So I think that's what's more likely. I think Bielsa would...
I'm not reacting to anything I've seen from Leeds fans or anything at all. It is just a sort of preemptive, they finished so well last year, and this season looks like they're in genuine trouble of relegation. I just wanted to preemptively get the question.
Maybe. I mean, if we're going to talk about genuine candidates for relegation, surely Newcastle right there. I mean, the Eddie Howe revolution rocks on, baby, doesn't it? That tour of the pitch, that lap of honour is looking less and less stupid every week, isn't it, Ian?
I stand by it that there is nothing to go around the pitch and celebrate this season at all.
Celebrate their only win of the season after 38 games. If you look back and say, at least they celebrated that one. At least they got the Sports Direct letters off the fucking stadium. At least they wave a load of fucking flags. We've got our club back. You ain't got shit, mate.
Honestly. Oh, man, was it the first goal where Clark just left it? The fuck is he doing?
How do you let it bounce like that in the box in front of the keeper?
Unbelievable.
What?
And I mean, even if you get a shout as a defence, like, I don't know where you guys played, if you ever played football, but I played in defence, and
FIFA.
even if I got a shout, I would sometimes still clear it and just apologise later, and go, because
if in one doubt, thing kick it out.
You can deal with it.
If in doubt, kick it out.
You've got to do it. It was awful, and it just set the tone, didn't it?
Absolutely. Oscar, give us the numbers.
Hell yeah. I got Newcastle 0, Manchester City 4. Ugh. Newcastle 0.4 to City's 3.1. That also matches up with City's big result over the midweek, which was 7-0 against Leeds. 3.5 to 0.2. So City generating 6.6 XG in 2 matches, scoring 11 goals. Fucking hell, man.
Meslier made 8 saves in the 7-0.
He played amazingly well.
He was so good. He made a triple save for John Stones' goal. Stones headed it at him again, kicked it, he saved it. No Leeds players supported him whatever, and then Stones finally kicked it in. He's like, come the fuck on, guys. Can you help me out? I know we've got someone on the bench sitting his GCSEs right now with a teacher next to him, but come on, just help me out, man.
The kid's doing fraction problems, trying to solve for X, find the hypotenuse, practicing for the SATs in case he wants to do.
And that's just to learn Bielsa's fucking tactics.
Exactly, he needs to get his trigonometry up.
But not to digress from City too much, but City, the steamroller City are back, I guess, outscoring. Yeah. They got a bit worried that Liverpool were outscoring them for a bit, and now they're only 6 goals behind Liverpool for the year. Those two teams,
one game then.
Those two teams, after 18 matches, have scored 94 goals between them.
Oh my god, that's so insane.
Terrifying.
Checking in on the percentages, this puts City at 69% to win the title. That seems high to me. I'm going to be honest with you. They're on 69, Liverpool 26, Chelsea on 5. 5 for Chelsea seems generous at this point, but that's because I'm cranky.
5 too many.
Yeah. 69%. Do you guys think City are going to do it?
I mean, it's. There's no point fucking doing this now, is there? It's
and yet every week
the swings are going to be so wild though, because like you make one slip up and you drop like 2 points once, and that's going to affect you by like nigh on 10% at the minute. So it's absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. I love it. It's good to watch. It's, Oscar, you're probably depressed enough for the three of us, but it's a bit of a shame Chelsea forgetting what goals are or what clean sheets are over the last few weeks, that it's kind of early doors has tainted a bit of that. But it doesn't necessarily take much. A couple of drop points and a decent run of 4 or 5 wins, and then all of a sudden you've got Liverpool, City, Chelsea on the same points again. I don't think that's beyond belief. We've still got a lot of games to make up. There's Champions League knockouts and how that will taint things for Man City, especially as we go into the 3rd year of them having, quote unquote, having to win the Champions League. So yeah, it's just a bit wild, but they've got the team, they've got the squad to do it. They can drop Foden, drop Grealish because they like a bit of light spanking, and bring different players in, and just destroy it. Like just Raheem Sterling pops out of nowhere, like he's hardly played this year, and you're like he's like a 120 million quid player, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but that's how Pep does, man. You'll like forget that they have fucking Lionel Messi, and then he'll bring him. Like that's just Pep team, not literally Lionel Messi, obviously, but like.
I was just trying to think if he actually went to City this year instead of PSG. I just forgot.
Missed that in the news, didn't we?
Yeah, not like us to.
I only get my news from Oscar, so.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I only get my news from Twitter, so.
Oh dear.
This doesn't work at all. Yeah, I mean, I'll take that as a yes from Chucky. And do you think City are going to win the title?
You can't bet against them, can you? You absolutely can't bet against them.
Oh, you can.
You can.
You can bet against them if you
literally
want.
could. Yeah, that's true. You could.
That's throwing money away. That's
probably, yeah.
But I mean, awful. Yeah, that would be throwing money away. But Pep didn't enjoy this as a performance. He wasn't happy, and that just shows you the levels. I think that when you blow a team,
he's a fucking weirdo.
4-0. Well, he's a weirdo. Of course, he's a weirdo. But like. The first half was one of the worst we've played all season. All right, mate. Fucking hell. I mean, I assume he's trying to make sure that complacency doesn't.
Mind games in it as well.
Mind games in his own team.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why they are as good as they are, because they never feel comfortable. They're always going. I mean, Tuchel does that too. It hasn't worked, whatever. We'll talk about Chelsea, but like that's what the best managers and the best teams and like truly, truly elite, like top 5 teams in the world year in, year out. That's how you have to be. That has to be the mentality.
Well, yeah, there was that. And then, I think the main on the Newcastle side talking point was the incident with Ederson on Ryan Fraser, where Cancelo obviously takes the ball away from Fraser and then he's running off. And then as Fraser's kind of making a turn, I don't know if he goes down or he looks for contact as well, but Ederson then just slides in and takes him out and doesn't get something, which I thought was quite funny.
I don't understand that at all.
The only thing I can think of is that it's because it's not like a tackle, it's an incidental collision which happens off the ball. And so I think it's just that one is a quirk of the rules where it's like it's not a penalty because he didn't have the ball, he wasn't in control of the ball, and also it wasn't a reckless attack on, if two players just run into each other by accident and trip each other up, that happens all the time. No, but that happens all the time on a football pitch. Players run across each other and trip each other up miles away from the ball and nothing happens.
But you said he'd sort of made the turn and I it felt very much one-sided to me, and I don't understand how that can't even be looked at.
I mean, it's Newcastle, and so... Don't
you apply different rules depending on who it is. Yeah,
well, they've got different financial rules because they're definitely not the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia that are going to have all of their companies sponsor them. They're just the investment fund that looks after the money of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Can we please make sure we have a hard line difference between that, guys? For goodness sake.
Yeah, I think it'll be a while before we see Newcastle win a sports washing derby. I think that's City for the time being.
100%. Yeah. I remember this, and I can't remember if I said by Christmas or by January, when Eddie Howe took over, I said Newcastle will get there on 12 points. And they're on 10 now, and they've got Man United and they've got Everton until we hit the new year. So at most, I think Newcastle now can get into the new year on 13 points. And are you kidding me?
Whether you said Christmas or New Year, you've been vindicated there. Yeah.
It's between 10 and 13 points after 20 games. Like, Jesus, they're fucked.
It's his birthday.
Yes, it is. Happy birthday, baby Jesus.
We're doing shout-outs now.
Yeah,
Happy birthday, Jesus!
Let's transition from one title race favorite, let's say, to another. And that was Liverpool 2, Tottenham 2, Tottenham 3.4 to Liverpool's 1.5. Mr. Simpson, I think you need to cue the jingle on this one.
Oh, they're better than they ought to be.
Burnley of the week.
Not a lot of times that we'll use Burnley of the week to describe Tottenham and Liverpool, because Liverpool, less than half of Tottenham's XG and getting a 2-2 draw here. Highly undeserved. Undeserved.
I mean...
Against fucking Spurs, bro.
The adjudication panel might decree that this is more of Spurs Watfording than Liverpool Burnleying. But, yeah, wild. I mean, they counter-attacked perfectly, generated really decent chances. I mean, they did 3.4 XG, but they only had 10 shots. So,
yep, and they did about 7.6 XP, expected penalties and red cards.
Well, oh yeah, Jesus, yeah, red cards and penalties or not penalties galore. Baffling. Harry,
bizarre.
Only England captain Harry Kane gets to stay on the pitch after that. I don't care what anyone says, like, oh, Robertson managed to jump out of the way a bit. Fuck off.
Good for him.
So because he protected himself, because he protected himself and didn't allow his ankle to get shattered by someone who went in studs up.
Why is the onus on him to do that? That's absolutely insane. If that wasn't endangering a player, I don't know what
100%
was. That's
completely out of control.
Insane.
It's mind-boggling. Andy Robertson's was absolute red card. He just booted him.
100%.
Just booted him. Just got the ball on the back lift after he kicked through Emerson Royale.
Yeah. Well, might as well go through with this.
And the penalty too, man. The penalty was equally egregious, or not penalty.
Oh well, yeah, that in a sec. I was just going to say Andy Robertson getting the classic hat trick of goal, assist, red card. Good man. But the penalty is outrageous. Because he slows down to kick the ball. He was looking for the contact. What?
Well, even if he was,
you must never slow down.
Yeah.
Once you start running, Ian, you must never slow down. It doesn't matter if there is a freight train coming towards you. Everyone, Adama Traore can't foul anyone because he can just run through them. Oh, you stopped. You slowed down. You went too slow. Sorry.
Exactly.
You were looking for the contact. Jesus. Titty fucking Christ. And
well,
then
Paul Tierney thinks it's on the players to defend themselves.
But something happened a little while later, which was again a Tottenham player ran through the back of a Liverpool player who slowed down to control the ball. and that was a free kick. And then Klopp kicked off because he was like, what the fuck? Like, how do you say that's a free kick and that other one isn't a penalty? Because he's right. Doesn't matter where a foul is a foul. And then Klopp gets booked. Amazing stuff. Just pure, utter, ridiculously wonderful shithousery by the referees in this one. Oh, it's just ineptitude. Like, they're not... The modern game has vastly surpassed them. And I don't know about you guys, but it feels like there is a permanent stalemate to create this weird fucking cabal of infallibility amongst refs, wherein refs and linesmen deliberately won't give decisions because they think VAR is going to overrule them, and VAR won't give the decisions because they don't want to overrule the officials on the field most of the time. And I don't understand. Is there any form of society or workplace or anything where there is a literal position where if you criticise them, you are punished for it? How the fuck in 2021 is it that if Jude Bellingham says something against the referee and gets a 50 grand fine because someone was fucking useless at their job, maybe if they had more accountability, public accountability, we might not be in this situation where they're fucking not fit for purpose. Yeah, put it to a Twitter vote as to who gets to referee games. Me, just me. I'll do it. I'll just sit there with a button. Yeah, me. Fuck it. But like,
send him off.
Why can't you just have VAR? Like the ref is useless, absolutely useless. Or have 3 refs or something because they can't manage it because they've got fixture congestion. They're tired as well. They run a lot. Most of them look like they're slightly overweight. I think what we need is VAR, video assisted referee. So someone watching the VAR and seeing footage of the VAR watching the footage, and then they can judge whether the VAR did a good job, and they can clear and obviously make a VAR error. As long as it's clear and obvious. That's but why is protecting the not being able to question one person on the field worth decisions being wrong? I don't get it. Do you want decisions to be right? Or do you just want a referee not to be challenged for being wrong? That's just where it feels like for me. That you after a lot of the incidents this week, you may as well not bother with a video assistant referee. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they ran out of funds. Maybe he was isolating, but they didn't want to tell anyone. And he couldn't do it, and his internet connection went down at home, or he couldn't press the VAR button, or his microphone wouldn't work.
Well, it was back for Robertson. You need to check that one out. So he went and had a look at that one.
Well, it's just funny, isn't it? Like, it's... if someone in a box can check the offside lines, right? Why can he not just say, no, I've looked at that, you need to give this decision? Like, they're still match-running referees that sit in the VAR booth. They're not like chumps or trainees or whatever. They're people who know. Why don't you just get him to go, you know what, you can go over to the monitor to sell it if you want, but you have to give this. That's it.
Yeah.
It's just wild. I don't get it.
It was very hilariously bad decisions, which is literally the point of what VAR is supposed to be for, and then they
that's exactly it. That's the problem. It's the only positive from VAR is that we get better decision making. You know, we get those massive games that really matter. You don't get mistakes being made. And if that positive isn't being fulfilled, then, you know, you're left going, well, what is the point of it? And obviously we're pro VAR, absolutely. But it's really fucking hard to defend it when you watch a game like this. When you've got, you know, inconsistency in incidents. You had a similar with... Leeds Arsenal, where we're very close to each other. There were 2 tackles that were really, really similar and just different reactions to them. And VAR not being able to get involved because it was only a yellow card in that one. That was what...
Oh, that's fucking stupid.
That's what we're left with. And it's you're left with a worse viewing experience. Maybe a more dramatic one, I don't know. But a worse viewing experience. It's certainly given us some talking points. But it's not... Certainly in this game, it was nowhere near... The whole official team were nowhere near delivering what the quality of officiating you should be getting in what is in the Premier League a top level game. And this was a fun game to watch. You know, Tottenham were unexpectedly good. I thought they did really well. I think Liverpool, who didn't have the defensive players who they Van Dijk was out for this, wasn't he? Mm-hmm. And they were still going forward as if he wasn't. You know, you could usually sort of rely on him a bit more. And I think when you've not got Van Dijk, they've got to chill out a little bit, because they were playing a Tottenham team who weren't scared of Liverpool, it seemed, and it was to their credit. It was a fun game, but you're left talking about the mad refereeing incidents, which changed perception of the game as well, because what you were saying there, Oscar, about the XG, and fair enough, but a draw felt right to me.
Yeah, so that was going to be my follow-up question is, we said this is Burnley of the week because of the XG, like Tottenham generated a lot more XG, but obviously something that XG misses is like that should have been a red card for Harry Kane, which then will have all sorts of game state effects. And that should have been a penalty that Liverpool didn't get, which would have added to their XG massively, right? So, was Liverpool lucky to get a draw? Was Liverpool unlucky to get a draw? Like, the truth of that is harder, I think, to figure out this week than most other weeks.
If you put all the refereeing decisions aside and the what-ifery about that, and just look at what actually happened, yes, Liverpool were lucky to get out of this with a point. Because the quality of chances, like I said, Spurs generated that 3.4 off 10 shots. I think Liverpool generated their 1.9 off of about 26 or something like that. So you look at the quality of chances they're getting. Like Spurs were just missing sitters. Like Son messed up rounding Alisson one time, and Kane didn't get a decent ball to him from. I can't remember who passed it now. But just, it didn't quite clear it enough to kick it round Alisson either. So 2 huge chances there for them to go 4-2.
So Tottenham looked much better under Conte then, right? Like generating chances and stuff, like you just said.
Yeah, I mean, they had 2 weeks of getting shouted at by him. So, yeah.
That's true. Plenty of time to prepare for this match, so that does help. That is an advantage. They were more rested. Harry Kane gets 2 weeks off and then he scores a goal, of course.
Sure.
Yeah, that sounds about right, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So, no, it's again exciting. They were effective against Liverpool. Klopp criticised them as having a blah, 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 blah. Oh, they just simple game plan. Well, unfortunately, mate, if you're undone by a simple game plan, you know what I mean? Maybe you need to adjust.
Yeah.
That does seem like a problem. Absolutely.
Exactly. Oscar, you've put it off long enough, mate.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. We had a double whammy of Chelsea disappointing results. Chelsea 3 fucking horrendous Burnleys in a row if we go back to the Leeds one from last week as well. But in the midweek, Chelsea 1, Everton 1, Chelsea 2.7 to Everton's 0.4. Oh, that was a better
we beat them
scoreline.
3-1. Just saying, we beat them 3-1.
Yeah, well,
just say.
And then this week, 0-0 with Wolves, 0.3 to 0.8. So Chelsea have won significantly their last 3 fixtures on XG and got a loss and 2 draws, which is really fucking annoying. That sounds like us last year, this time last year especially. The bigger issue for me in this match for this one is why the fuck did it happen at all? Chelsea, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but Chelsea had 7 positive fucking cases that they knew of at the time. Not enough healthy players for a full fucking bench. We did not have a full bench.
Right.
And this went on.
Right. Look at stop fucking from your pedestal about not having. Look at the team. Leeds played a 15-year-old. Are you telling me to fill out the bench? Are you telling me Chelsea, in their ridiculous loan army of 48 players, their academy teams that they have, couldn't fill another 3 spots on a bench? That is ridiculous. And then you look at the value of players in that team. That's absolutely ridiculous. It feels like, we couldn't, you deliberately left people out that you could have picked to go in there.
I'm pretty sure the rules means that if they had players that were available, they would have to put them on the bench.
No, Chelsea decided to not add under 23 players to their senior squad. Yeah.
Well, yeah, fair enough.
And and when we're talking about Chelsea, and you were guilty of this as well, Chelsea in their incredible depth of having 2 starting 11s that they can play. And now, that's not good enough to have Edouard Mendy, Rudiger, Alonso, Thiago Silva, N'Golo Kante, Christian Pulisic, Chalobah, Mount, Ziyech, James, Azpilicueta, Arrizabalaga, Bettinelli, who granted, 3rd goalkeeper, fair enough. Kovacic was back, Saul, Ross Barkley and Malang Sarr. There's more money in that team, 100%, than Palace have ever spent in their entire history. every player there, apart from obviously academy players because you didn't pay for them, are probably more than my team has ever paid on a player.
Yeah, I mean, that's a reasonable point, but like a lot of those names on that list had no business being on the list and wouldn't have been on the list if it wasn't all hands on deck emergency. Like Conte was 2 to 3 weeks from being actually fit to come back. They just threw him in here. He hasn't even been like fully training yet.
But then I'm sorry, that's
and like we had a 22-year-old
fault.
center back playing at center mid out of position. Kovacic wasn't ready to be back, and they threw him on for the second half because Chalobah got hurt. Like this match shouldn't have happened, and for COVID reasons also. But like, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating.
He massively cut off his nose to spite his face. Then, if that's the case, to make a point about I can't play any of the under-23s, rushes back N'Golo Kante, risks other injuries, and that kind of like just take, Wolves. We've seen Wolves have played Chelsea, City, Liverpool. They've conceded 2 goals in those 3 games, which is insane. They've both scored and conceded less goals than games. They've had 5 clean sheets out of the last 7. Which is mad. The only 2 teams they've conceded against being Liverpool and City. So, like, they're going to play massively low block. So, give chances to other players who maybe try something and you know what I mean, or have something to prove in your vast swathes of players. I just don't buy it. Like, if he's going to turn around and say he rushed players, well, that's your own fucking fault. I don't see that as any different to Klopp moaning about fixture congestion, and then his Champions League group, for example, after 4 games they definitely won the group, and he's still running out of first 11. Like, I don't see those 2 things as being different, personally.
I mean, when you have 7 COVID cases, that's pretty much a huge extenuating circumstance to me. At least, like, we weren't running out our first 11. We were running out the only players that we had that were like healthy. And barely that. We were running out the taped together hamstrings of N'Golo Kante. Like
what's come out of today's Premier League meeting, so it's obviously Monday evening for us as we record. Today's Premier League meeting is that if clubs have 13 fit players plus a goalkeeper, they should fulfil their games. Do we know if that's been what's the criteria that's been applied so far, or is that new?
I have no idea.
No idea, because they haven't ever properly announced who and how many cases they have, and you don't know how many you have running concurrently. I think Klopp said in one of his post-match interviews that they were told they had the least COVID when they had 3 cases in one day and then 1 the next day, I believe. Right. So 4 over 2 days, and they were the lowest. Which is weird because I spoke about Palace, and we posted something that 1 member of coaching staff had a COVID case a few days ago, and that's the first I've seen of anything, of any players having it or whatever. And obviously some teams have had a lot more. Some teams maybe have disclosed it when it's more higher profile players, as if that should make a difference, which can't be a barometer. Because of ability can't be the kind of deciding factor on whether a game gets cancelled or box office. No. It does seem to be that a lot of the matches that are on Sky Sports still go ahead when teams ask for them to be moved, which was the case this week.
Well, these numbers of 13 fit plus a goalkeeper, so 14. I don't know why that's sort of named differently, but anyway.
No, because one so has to be a goalkeeper.
Well, put whoever in goal, doesn't matter. Rush goalie.
No, they have to be properly trained. They need to know how to put the gloves on.
Okay, fine. Then that feels really low. Like, it feels like
it is really low. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, unless a club has been absolutely decimated, it feels like that must be new guidance that they're putting in to ensure that as many games get played.
That's just what UEFA have done with their competitions. Take action that tries to help you stop getting into that situation as much as possible. But this is the level. There has to be a level. Like, you only need 11 players and three subs. That's all you need.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that feels like a goalpost move, because there's absolutely no way Man United couldn't put out 14 players.
Well, especially, like, I think if you read the fine print of that rule, it also says, like, if you can't fill it out with senior players, fill it out with U21s or U23s. Like, that's definitely that's what's so frustrating to me. Like, I don't want to sit here and moan and be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. We didn't get the results. We were so unfairly treated, etc. Like, we didn't beat Wolves. That happened. We played on the pitch and we didn't beat Wolves. And it was a decent-ish 11, sort of. But like when there's so many fixtures getting canceled, Chelsea have 7 cases. They specifically requested for this fixture to get postponed. It's not like they just assumed that it would happen. They put in an official request and then that gets denied. It's just fucking crazy to me. That's just
I think
fucking
that's
crazy.
where you've got a genuine grievance is when Man United are getting games postponed and stuff like that. I think with the zero transparency.
I think it should have been postponed. But
I don't know. My team hasn't had massive COVID problems. I want to play these fucking injury ravaged teams. Why do they get? That's the other side of it. There are clubs that in a weird way will benefit from this. You look at, for example, Brighton, who have got a massive injury crisis. Well, tack on a couple of COVID cases, happy days. We get a couple of weeks off. These players can recuperate. We all get a rest and come back, and and then there's fixture congestion later. Whereas then, what about the other teams and how it flexes? And it'll balance out in a wash, but it's the other side of it that it's when we didn't have a prerequisite before, like you said, Oscar, because they were saying it was a case by case basis, which is backwards. Mm-hmm. And then they bring in a barometer. We now go, well, by new rules, that game potentially 3 weeks ago that would have happened, and maybe because of who was out, like we would have won, but now we don't. So it's messy as shit. There's so many layers and almost like individual arguments in the saga that can be had either way. But, it happened. Game happened. Maybe we'll have more games. Maybe we won't have more games.
Who knows? We'll see. The next game's against Villa, so anytime we get to go and do something bad to Gerrard, I'd be happy with that. Really upsetting on a final note here for Chelsea, at least. Not really football related, but fucking Havertz was one of the people that has COVID again. Or has COVID.
Oh, again.
After having very bad COVID last year. I know, that was why he was bad for the first half of the season. He didn't have lungs. It took forever for him to recover. And I worry that him having it now after having a particularly severe case, whatever long-term damage that did last year, that can't be good. Right? Like, it took him that many months to get back to fitness. I don't know. So our love and thoughts with Havertz among all the other players, but knowing that he specifically had bad COVID last year and now has it again. Mm-hmm. Very troubling. So I hope that he's okay for like human reasons and also obviously for Chelsea reasons. But
yeah, I mean the good thing is now they moan about a break. Well, every team's off for the next 6 days, and then we've got football on the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So I don't know what they're whinging about, to be honest.
Here comes the tinsel window.
I'd love to play all that football, but never mind. Gentlemen, should we quiz?
Fuck yeah.
Let's have a little quiz.
Let's quiz. Oh shit, it's not a bluffer, so I need a jingle. After the match, they talk to the people. Sometimes they say things that are weird. Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes you're like, what the fuck are you on about, mate? It's a quiz about post-match conferences.
I enjoyed that. It was explanatory as well.
So I have taken, and I thought I'd do this one as a kind of a trailer to see if we can extend it and do a larger one. So I have got I've got 8 quotes from post-match interviews from players and managers.
Okay.
Some are players, some are managers. For the sake of ease, there's 8 in total, as I said. There is 1 per team that played this week. And you've just got to tell me who you think said it.
Brilliant.
You're right.
Was it from this week's post-matches,
This week's post-matches, yeah.
Excellent.
So you will get, I will say, if you get the person, you get a point. If you guess the team, you get half a point. How about that?
Okay.
Sounds fair enough. Just because I know, I want you to all get points. And I know Oscar doesn't know people. Or the teams that played this week. So
that's true.
We did work through that, yeah.
So the first quote is, no, definitely not. I thought it was a strong tackle, but I thought I won the ball. Obviously, I haven't seen it back. Who said that for number 1?
Just hear me pouring wine.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I did actually. But I'm also laughing at this quote. Quote number 2. Number 2. No, it was more a muscular issue. Obviously, he's got a big load on him.
Grow up.
No, it was more a muscular issue. Obviously, he's got a big load on him. That was regarding a player being substituted off in a match.
Interesting.
Quote number 3. The circumstances are the circumstances and the game is the game.
Okay.
That's hard.
Yes. Number 4. The situation, what the referee had today, is really hard. I have no idea what his problem is. The situation, what the referee had today, is really hard. I have no idea what his problem is.
I'm going to get a 0 on this quiz.
But remember, you can go back and obviously fill in. There's one per team. So, even if you guess per team, maybe. Number 5. When we are defending, we are playing as a team. When they do that, and the opponents need to feel we're hard. When we are defending, we are playing as a team. When they do that, when they do that, and the opponents need to feel we're hard.
Well, even if I get 0, I'm enjoying myself.
Having fun. Number 6. Number 6. Good result, not good performance. We were lucky.
Oh, shit. Well, that takes out my last... Right, okay.
Good result, not good performance. We were lucky. Number 7. Take the goals away, and I think we were in the game.
Oh, I know that one. I'll put that one for an early one, but that is fucking hilarious, yeah.
Take the goals away, and I think we were in the game.
Oh, well, I've got guaranteed points on that one at least, because I remember thinking, you fucking moron.
That's amazing. That's such a good quote.
Yeah.
That reminds me of my favorite terrible joke. Well, besides that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
Yeah.
Oh, enough times passed. It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
And the last one, number 8. So we have 8 defenders less and 3 forwards less, and I can't deny that's a difficulty, but I also can't justify the defeat due to the absences.
Okay, I think I know that one as well.
A manager taking responsibility and not using excuses. Okie dokie, number 1 then. Let's go answer time. And I hope you were playing along at home and having a bloody lovely time. You deserve it. Merry Christmas. No, definitely not. I thought it was a strong tackle, but I thought I won the ball. Obviously, I haven't seen it back. That was, of course, Harry Kane about his tackle on Andy Robertson. I thought it was a strong tackle, but I thought they won the ball. Yes, you handballed it after you went through his fucking ankle.
Yeah, strong tackle. Strong tackle.
Second one. No, it was more a muscular issue. Obviously, he's got a big load on him. That was Mikel Arteta of Arsenal talking about Takahiro Tomiyasu.
Oh, of course.
And the reason he got subbed for an injury. No, it was more a muscular issue. Obviously, he's got a big load on him. I enjoyed it.
Fun times.
Number 3, Thomas Tuchel was the person who started his interview with the circumstances are the circumstances and the game is the game.
I knew that one.
Nice and vague. Thomas Tuchel, or half a point for Chelsea, obviously. Number 4, the situation what the referee had today is really hard. I have no idea what his problem is. That is obviously the German Holloway, Jurgen Klopp.
Hey, I'm doing pretty good so far.
Yeah, well, what's your running total, Oscar, after 4?
3.
Yeah, I've got 3, yeah.
Did you miss number 2?
I missed 2 and 3.
Oh, you're getting half points.
Yeah,
I don't have
you
any half points.
Well, you must do for the teams.
Wait, I don't understand the scoring then. I just wrote down Kane, Tuchel, and Klopp.
He said he was giving half points for the teams as well.
I thought the half point was only if you don't get the person.
Yeah. If you don't get the person, you get half a point for the team.
Oh, sorry.
But if you get the person, you get a point.
Oh, okay.
Ian, are you?
I'm cheating again.
Are you fluffing again?
I'm cheating again. Okay, yeah. In that case, I've got 2. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you get half a point for the team.
Gotcha.
Or if you got the person. Maybe I didn't explain that very well.
No, that's okay.
No, I'm still not sure.
No, Oscar. Look, I'm not. No offense, Oscar. If Oscar got it, you explained it perfectly. Because he usually has no idea what's going on in these quizzes.
Oscar, when he said no offence, I'm trying to work out who he would have offended.
Me, I think.
Yeah, definitely Oscar.
So, number 5. When we are defending, we are playing as a team. When they do that, and the opponents need to feel we're hard, was Bruno Lage.
Ah, damn it.
Oh, no.
I said Conte on that one.
Oh, that's a good shout, actually, on saying something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I did go through. I mean, I did say that there was only one per team.
Which means my next one is wrong.
Possibly. Good result, not good performance. We were lucky was, of course, Pep Guardiola, the fucking weirdo.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have any City on here. That makes sense.
There you go, one for Pep, half for City. Take the goals away, and I think we were in the game.
Ryan Fraser.
That squashed frog Ryan Fraser of Newcastle. Yeah, that will happen in 4-0. Take the goals away.
Take the goals away. It's bloody 0-0. God, so close. So close,
I said
Ryan.
I had Newcastle there, so I get the half point at least.
You get the half
There
point,
you go, half point. Yeah. And the last one, so we have 8 defenders less and 3 forwards less, and I can't deny that's a difficulty, but I also can't justify the defeat due to absences. I thought about writing in the Spanish bit as well, but I thought that might give it away, and also... I don't know Spanish. Marcelo Bielsa of Leeds was the 8th one. So, of course, if you got the person, you get 1 point. If you got the team, you got half a point. Obviously, that's in substitution of Ian before you add points onto yourself.
Yeah, okay. I've got the new scoring system.
What is the score in the quiz? Is it 6-5 or 7-5?
6-5. I was ahead and then Ian tied it and then passed it.
Okay, 6-5. So, Oscar, what is your total score?
4.5.
4.5. Ian, what did you get?
5.
Play the music!
Oh, man. Ryan Fraser saved me. Oh.
Of course he did.
No one's ever said that. Congratulations, Ian. 7-5 overall in the quiz. Congratulations to you. Commiserations, Oscar. Things can only get better, mate. Remember that.
Can they? It doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't feel like it.
But let's see. Obviously, we're in the run-up for Christmas. We were planning on doing FPL, but we realised that we talk about this 4 games for quite a while. Obviously, we are known to do. Just want to remind everyone again, though, that yes, I am top of the Patreon League at Christmas.
Yeah.
Everyone else is worrying about games being cancelled, and I dropped 70-point game weeks.
Yeah.
Captain Cancelo, 36 points. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thanks,
and
mate.
And you Captain Cancelo, wasn't it?
Captain Cancelo, yeah, mate.
Yeah.
All the fixture congestion. What?
Love it.
What about it? 73, 67, 73, 73, 67, 84, 70.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very
Guys,
nice.
Oscar, I don't need your praise.
I'll take it.
I need it. I really need it, guys. I'm having a rough week.
And first place in the fan tracks, I believe, as well, Chuck. Is that not true?
Oh, well, if you're going to mention that as well, yes, in the draft league, I'm top of that one as well. The lower division,
the second division. We should be clear. You're the top of the championship.
Hey, look, I'm propping up the pyramid. That's what it's about.
Having said all this as well, if you want to take a shot at the champ, patreon.com/milesoffsidepod, because we said if you were in, I don't know if you remember this, guys, we said if you were in the Patreon before January the 1st and you join the FPL League and you can't stick with us until the end of the season, there is a £50 prize for the FPL...
£51.
£51 prize for the FPL winner. So yeah, if you want to...
Did we say £50 or did I just say £100 on air?
No, there was something you raised to £100. Wasn't that the Predictor League?
Predictor League, I think.
Oh no, Predictor League would have been 100, but not enough people entered. Even if when I eventually get round to putting Emily in the spreadsheet.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. So anyway, there is a prize of £50 or something.
£51.
50 quid. You get FPL pods for me and Ian, and we do lovely stuff. £51 fine. We do FPL stuff. We also pick differential picks each week and give you tips. And mine this week was Martinelli. Again, say no more about it, guys. I'm just so much praise. Right, well, we don't know what's obviously going to happen between now and Christmas, but the next fixture is on the 26th of December. Fingers crossed we get all of that football. We've got Liverpool, Leeds, Wolves, Watford. Wow, 2 L derbies and 2 W derbies.
This one's for all the L's and all the W's.
Yeah, it will be Liverpool or Eads versus Wolves or Otford. Burnley, Everton, Man City, Leicester, Norwich, Arsenal, Spurs, Palace, West Ham, Southampton, Villa, Chelsea, Brighton, Brentford. Another derby there. It'll either be Eighton or Entford. And then Monday, the 27th, is Newcastle versus Manchester United. We've got all the Amazon Prime games on the 28th to the 30th. We've got the 1st of January. I mean, I'm going to be out of the country. I've told you guys that, right? Yeah?
Yes.
You mentioned it. Yeah.
And maybe, hopefully, be able to get back in.
Third time lucky. Well, if I don't, it won't be that big of a loss, let's face it. So, yeah, from all of us, it's definitely a very Merry Christmas. Very Merry Christmas. Ian, any fucking time with the music. There we go. Well, we're breaking for Christmas. It would have been nice if you put some bells over it as well, but you edit that in post or something.
I'll do that, yeah.
Say goodbye, Ian.
Goodbye. Merry Christmas.
Say goodbye, Ian. Say goodbye, Oscar.
Happy holidays.
Thanks to our producers, Nate Whittam, Johnny Werthers, Sam Danby, Jeff Pedder, Mark Daffin, and shit!
Eddie Pembrace.
Eddie Pembrace from Sutton! Yay! Go team! With the assist.